Coronation presents Firebreaker, The Legend of George and the Dragon, Chapter 2, A Most Unwelcome Guest.
Grandfather, that dragon was gross.
Yes, indeed, Sebastian. Gross, hideous, fearsome, fell.
Revolting?
Revolting, all right, yes, but one must remember...
Disgusting.
Yes, there are many adjectives to describe dragons, and believe me, I will be using them all. But the most accurate is...
Evil.
Evil. Very perceptive, my boy. The very embodiment of evil. Let me tell you another chapter of the tale.
Do it.
Far across the sea from Cappadocia, in a lush green valley, lay the kingdom of Silene. Ruled by its king, Cosmo, the people of Silene lived in peace and tranquility until one morning, a stranger arrived.
What's this, then?
Plisto, the king's trusted advisor and governor, a man known for his handsome face and acute intelligence, hopped down from his horse and knelt by the shore of the lake. His guards gathered around him.
What have we here?
What's that horrid stench?
Come here, little one. Well.
My Lord Plisto, if I'm not mistaken, that is a dragon. I wouldn't...
Aren't you a pretty little thing?
Plisto gathered the creature up into his hands. In the sunlight, its scales shone like the colors of the rainbow. It was so harmlessly small, fitting comfortably in Plisto's hands. It cooed, climbing around Plisto's fingers, its small claws wrapping around his thumb. It was enchanting.
Beautiful. Aren't you, little one?
My lord, be careful.
Nonsense, Captain. It's smiling. Just look at it.
Just then, the tiny dragon clamped its jaws around Plisto's fingers.
Stop at you! Let go! He must be hungry is all. Captain, bring me something from our store, quickly.
But my lord, if you feed it, it will only want more, and then...
Do as I say, or I'll give it your nose to nibble off.
You there, Ehab, give it something!
The guard rummaged through his saddlebag. I really don't think this is a good idea. Ehab pulled a leg of lamb from his saddlebag and tossed it to the ground at Plisto's feet. The creature sniffed the huge piece of meat before it, and as the men looked on in fascination, its eyes rolled back in its scaly head. Its jaws slowly opened to 5 times their size, and the dragon swallowed the leg whole, like a great python. Several of the guards shuddered and looked away in horror, but Plisto stared in wonder.
My lord Plisto, we must leave this foul thing here and warn the king immediately.
Foul?
Plisto slowly knelt down in the grass before the beast and lowered his head toward its mouth. The dragon crawled forward toward Plisto's ear.
What's it doing, Nico? I think it's talking to him.
My lord,
As
please!
Plisto extended his hand, the dragon slithered up and perched itself on his shoulder. He rose slowly and turned to his men. A strange, mechanical expression settled over his face.
My lord, look at his face.
My friends, have no fear. Caicos is our ally. Caicos is our protector. A new day dawns for Silene. Caicos has spoken.
I don't like this.
As Plisto and his men paraded through the city, the dragon still perched on his shoulder. The people poured out into the streets, clamoring for a view of the curious creature.
What is that, Mommy?
It looks like a little dragon.
I want to play with it.
Me too. It's so cute. I want to feed it.
Oh, yes, Mommy. We ate most of our liver and onions you made. Can we please feed it the rest of our liver? Please, Mommy?
No.
Please.
No, no! Stop this at once!
No, all of you, stop!
But we don't like liver and onions, Grandfather.
Are you mad?
Go take a nap, old man!
But one lone voice of reason was not enough to sway the rest of the Silenian people. Already they had begun to come under the creature's spell. Their eyes transfixed on the dragon, they surged past the old man and followed the parade through the winding streets. As the procession approached the town square, the captain whispered to his two wary guards.
Ihab, Nico, come ahead with me. We must warn the king.
At the far end of the beautiful square, the king's daughter, Aia, emerged from the royal palace and stood on a low balcony above the square.
Captain, what is all this?
My lady, Lord Plisto approaches with a most unwelcome guest.
Another emissary from Ardahan?
No, my lady. A dragon.
What?
See for yourself.
The captain and the guards turned back toward the entrance of the square. Plisto and the rest of the guards entered the square. The dragon was now clinging to Plisto's back and smiling at the adoring crowd. At the sight of the creature, Princess Aia caught her breath and raised her hand to her mouth.
May the Holy Cross be my light.
Horrified, the princess called to her servants.
Summon the king!
As the strange parade crossed the square, the dragon would flap its wings, rise a few feet above Plisto, and fly clumsily over the crowd, each time drawing louder cheers from the adoring people. The creature seemed to drink in the crowd's attention.
Is it just me, or is that thing much bigger than it was an hour ago?
Oh, you're right.
Just then, the king emerged from the palace doors, his courtiers still hurriedly buttoning his robes. He rushed to his daughter's side.
I was still asleep, Aya. What is it? They said it was urgent.
Look,
The princess pointed out toward the approaching crowd. The king raised his hand to shade his eyes from the morning sun.
Oh, my. What in the world?
it's a dragon, Father.
I know it's a dragon, my dear. I've just never seen one so small and so charming.
Charming? You cannot be serious, Father.
My lord, you know the perils better than all of us.
Don't you remember the stories you used to tell me?
Bah, those were just stories, my girl. Fairy tales. I want to get a closer look at this thing.
The king clapped his hands for his court to follow and descended the marble stairs to the square. Aia stood alone, speechless.
Make way for the king! Plisto! Back so soon from Ardahan? What is this you bring me? A kingly gift from their not-so-kingly king?
A gift for all Silene, my lord, but not from Ardahan. From beyond.
The dragon, now in Plisto's arms, fixed its gaze on the king and smiled mysteriously.
Magnificent. A bit odoriferous, but magnificent.
Good King Cosmo.
Plisto and the rest of his guards brushed past the king and ascended the balcony steps.
And good citizens of Silene, I present to you Caicos!
With great effort, Plisto held the dragon aloft. Its claws dug into Plisto's skin, blood trickling down his arms, but he seemed oblivious. The creature flapped its wings and flew off across the square. The force of the wind knocked over several villagers and toppled vegetable carts. As the entire town stared in wonder at the dragon circling above the square, Princess Aia climbed down from the low balcony and rushed to her father's side.
Father, I beg you, come to your senses. These creatures are altogether evil.
Now, child. We have always trusted good Plisto's counsel. He will not lead us astray. It is but a harmless amusement. Just look how happy the people are.
As the dragon circled a last time around the square and approached the palace, it let forth a tremendous blast of fire, incinerating a helpless goat tied up in the marketplace. The villagers looked on in horror, and a sober hush came over the square. The dragon came to rest at the top of the palace stairs. It was now nearly as tall as Plisto himself.
Good people of Silene, Caicos the Powerful has spoken to me. Caicos will protect us from enemies without and within our borders. Peace will reign if we but accept Caicos into our midst. He will fulfill all our desires and make us prosper. In exchange, Caicos requires only a small tribute.
The Silenians looked hesitatingly at one another, but slowly began to nod in agreement.
Finally, we'll be saved! We'll have a protector!
The dragon threw back its head and let forth a terrifying shriek. And the people cheered once again.
Captain, do you see the situation as I do?
Yes, my lady. You've heard the stories of dragon desolation. From the north, from Cappadocia?
I have. This will be the death of Silene, unless we act now. Ehab, gather others of virtue. We must clear the king's mind and turn back this evil tide before it's too late. Go. I will send word.
Yes, my lady.
As Aya's trusted guards disappeared into the crowd, she turned back to the macabre spectacle in the square. As the king applauded and laughed, she looked to the top of the steps. Plisto's eyes were already fixed on her. Slowly, the dragon too turned to her and smiled.
Next time on Firebreaker.
George, the Cappadocian, are you ready to serve the Emperor of Rome and his army?
I am.
Let the test begin!
You have been listening to Firebreaker, the legend of George and the Dragon. Firebreaker is a Coronation Media production, starring David Henrie and Elizabeth Tabish, directed by Jim Morlino, written by Jim Morlino and Dominic Morlino, original score by Kevin Kasker, with sound design by Michael Moen, executive producer Bill Phillips, executive producer and showrunner Gary Gores. For a full cast and crew listing, please visit our website, firebreakerseries.com.